In the past, community was local only, and the internet, of course, has allowed us to become global. So whatever weird thing you're into, you can type in weird website or type in weird Facebook group and find a million other people who are interested in the same thing. In this case, this Facebook group has 1 million people who are interested in putting their face in the fan and hearing their robot voice. I'm personally used to be a big meat eater, so I can appreciate a nice meaty meal. 4 years ago, I became vegetarian, and a few months ago, I became a vegan, simply because I care about the impact on the environment, on my own body, and on the animals. So sometimes being a vegan is lonely, and I travel the world, and when I go to restaurants and tell them I'm vegan, oftentimes it's going to be a surprise that comes back on my plate. Sometimes they give me chicken, so they don't exactly understand what that means. So this particular picture was in New Zealand, where I was there with my dear friend Joanne McPike, and she was nice enough to call the restaurant prior and tell them that a vegan was on the way and warn them. And when we got there, the waitress, of course, comes up and says, "So who's the vegan?" And everybody points to me. And once we finished laughing, like any social media junkies would do, we reenacted the moment, took a picture, and posted it on Instagram. So I knew I was coming to give this talk, and I wanted to do an experiment with communities. So I found a community called Vegan Humor, which is 90,000 vegans there to make fun of ourselves about being vegan and the things that happen to us. And I posted this picture. And within 24 hours, there was almost 1,600 people that liked it, 39 shares, and over 100 comments from other vegans sharing their experiences. I got a few marriage proposals, as you can see from the comment there at the bottom. Apparently, it's hard to find a vegan boyfriend. And one more time. Although I never met these people, I got really connected to them. And I started talking to them on message, and I got all these invites that, when you come to our city, we have a vegan meal for you. And I really realized that, the day before, I was kind of this lonely vegan being made fun of at the restaurant, and now I had all these new friends. So, my friends, I'd like you to consider that passion brings all these communities together. And in my opinion, passion is everything, and other speakers have talked about this. This is one of my dear friends and one of my mentors, Yasuhiku Kimura. He's a Buddhist priest, and he says that passion is not something that you have, it's what you are as a cosmic destiny. In other words, at a cellular level, who you are is passion. And so when you're living in your passion, you're enlivened, you're free, you're attracting other people that are also living in that passion. And life's awesome. On the flip side of this, when you're not living in your passion, it's challenging, you're driven, you're motivated, and sometimes living in this unfulfilled existence. And I see that as a big obstacle for innovation. And I think it's, hiring managers and at work and in life, not vetting for passion. I think that we should use the word passion, talk about it more in life. I think it will make a big difference, but sometimes I think we're scared of the answer that we're going to get. So if you'll think to yourselves, being at work, and you're sitting there and you're looking at 10 people in the room going about their business, a Gallup poll about the state of the workplace that was taken in 2012 in 142 countries said that only 1 out of these 10 people are actually engaged in work. The other 9 aren't, and they're probably spending their time on Facebook sharing about how they love to speak in the fan to hear their robot voice. So have we lost track of what's most important? If we're not being our true selves, and how do we build community? So I'd love for you to close your eyes for a moment and think for yourself about your passions and what you're passionate about. Are you living your passion on a consistent basis? Another way to say this is, are you in love with the moments that you're living? You can open your eyes now. So there's actually some science behind this elusive passion thing. When you're stimulated, when you're living in your passion, the nucleus accumbens is throwing a party in your brain. There's an open bar, and everybody's there, and it's great. It's actually one of the, it's the leading part of your brain in the reward system, and it's pumping dopamine into your blood. One place that I want to share about where the nucleus accumbens is firing on all cylinders is a sustainable community in the Panamanian jungle called Kaluyala that my friend Jimmy Stice founded. Now, over the years, I had the honor of being there for 5 days leading my hugging workshop and on a way to get people connected. And what I observed there was, these people that have come from all over the place. There's people that live there, they're students, and they are waking up at sunrise, jumping out of bed, smiling, very kind to everyone. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on with these people? And so I asked them, I said, why do you live here? What is it that has you live here and has you be so excited? And what they shared was, they said, I have a passion for forests, not fields. I have a passion for building with my hands. I have a passion for permaculture. I have a passion for jungle animals. And I love living in a community where other people feel the same. And so what I understood was that this was a passion playground. And I was there for the same reason. And the beautiful thing about it was there was 200 people there physically, including myself, but 150,000 people online and growing. And so, all these people were on Facebook at the same time. And so what's really interesting, this slide is by Marcus Shingles, the CEO of XPRIZE. The time is now, and it's only getting better, and this kind of a beautiful trifecta is happening, where there's an exponential decrease in the cost of social, mobile computing and big data, which is creating this exponential increase in the number of people that are connected. And it's bringing together people that have money, organizations that have money and not enough time, with people that have passion and the time. And that's where the magic is happening. It's creating these communities that are thriving. And look at all the magic here. This is a representation of the 1 million people in the HeroX community, which is an incentive-prize platform that we built as a spinoff of the XPRIZE, coming from 145 countries. And it really makes the world feel intimate and connected, doesn't it? So what we found that's really interesting in our time doing prizes is that it's not about the money. The money is this catalyst that gets people out of bed, or gets people working at night, or gets people working on the weekends, let's say outside of their regular job, to accomplish something, or gets them to start a startup. The other thing is that it's not about the competition, it's about the community. So think of a prize as a magnet that's pulling people together. And these people come on HeroX, they communicate, they share with each other, they debate, and they join forces and teams to accomplish a vision that they care about. So my passion is bringing people together in community through incentive prizes. And I wanted to share with you some ways that incentive prizes have impacted your lives. So an example we have here is billiard balls. Billiard balls used to be made out of ivory, and ivory was becoming scarce. So a prize was done, and the innovator created balls out of cellulose, which later became plastic. So anyone who's used plastics, it's because of this prize. If anyone's ever flown across the Atlantic, there was a $25,000 prize by Raymond Ortiz. He wanted to go from New York to Paris and back in one transatlantic flight. And legend has it that he had a girlfriend in Paris. He was tired of having to take a boat to go see her. So he did a $25,000 prize. And the winner of that prize was a novice pilot, Charles Lindbergh. He'd only been a pilot for 2 years. And he really kind of disrupted this aviation industry, and that's very common in prizes. Canned goods and jars, that came from Napoleon's prize. He needed a way to preserve food because the conquered people that wouldn't sell or give them food. So a confectioner named Nicolas Appert figured out jars and cans. He was a candy maker. One of my favorite prizes is from my dear friend and the co-founder of HeroX, Peter Diamandis. He wanted to go to space, and he couldn't become an astronaut, so he took matters into his own hands. He created a $10 million prize, for the first team that could be privately funded, go to space with 3 people, come back down, and do it again within 14 days. Richard Branson bought this team. it became Virgin Galactic, and it created a billion-dollar space industry for the likes of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Another amazing prize was the Oil Cleanup X Challenge from Wendy Schmidt, $1.4 million prize. So the BP oil spill happened. 200 million gallons were spilling into the oil over 87 days. And the rate of oil cleanup had been the same for 20 years, since the Exxon Valdez. It was 1,100 gallons per minute was the rate of oil cleanup. Now, we created a prize that put it at 2,500 gallons per minute, the team that could raise it to that rate. All the experts said it couldn't be done. 10 teams beat that number, and the winning team increased the number to 4,400 gallons per minute in 12 months. That's a 400% increase. So think about, in your industry, what a 400% increase would look like. Some of you might be able to retire. So what does it take to create a prize? Well, firstly, it's the realization, the mindset that most of the brightest people don't work for you. They work for someone else, no matter who you are. Secondly, it's seeing a prize as an opportunity, not a threat, bringing people in from outside of your organization. And there's many companies that are using this to innovate, including Google, Qualcomm, government agencies like challenge.gov, NASA, and it's really been effective for them. So one of the things I found when speaking to people about prizes is that there's kind of this fear, especially with executives within an organization. They have this fear of never having done it before. So being used to having RFPs where they hire contractors or consultants. This is a little bit Wild West because you're putting a prize out and just seeing who comes to you. Being replaced by the winner. Somebody smarter than me is going to figure this out, and they're going to find out, I didn't, and I'm going to get fired. But it's really a tool to bring these people together. And also losing control of the intellectual property, which we have stopgaps in place for. So what we've realized over doing prizes for 20 years with HeroX and X Prize, and the other companies that are doing prizes as well, is that these fears are built on false premise. So who are you going to trust? On the left here, we have Tony Hayward. He's the CEO of BP. He represents the 48,000 employees of BP that were tasked with cleaning up the oil spill. And on the right, we have Fred Giovannitti. He's a tattoo artist from Las Vegas. In 2007, Ashley Day came into Fred's tattoo studio to cover up some weird lizard tattoo that he had on his chest. And he started talking about his focus on cleaning up particles in the ocean, cleaning up the plastic island. And Fred, he got really inspired. And so in the next session, he came back and he built a prototype design for cleaning up. And Ashley said, "This is a better design than I've ever seen any of my engineers create." And so they joined forces, and this became the first submission for the Wendy Schmidt Oil Prize, and ended up more than doubling the rate of oil cleanup. So, think about that next time you think about who you're going to trust. Kai Klopfer, he's one of my modern day heroes. I was able to interview him in a webcast this week. He is an amazing person, and when he was 15, he started focusing on saving lives through gun safety. He's 18 now. And the Smart Tech Challenges Foundation launched a $1 million prize with HeroX to the innovator that could create a firearm that reduced gun deaths. And so Kai had been doing this, and he created a barometric firearm guard, and this is a fingerprint guard that works at 99.999% accuracy, which we all know is basically 100%. And if this prize hadn't been done, Kai probably wouldn't have got his funding, and he wouldn't have been able to take this to market. So, my friends, the great Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." What could be possible for you if you shared your passion and your vision? Who would you meet? What could you accomplish? So I encourage you, starting today, share your passion and your vision with your friends. Share it with your social media network. Share it with your email list. Share it with people at work. Share it with the people next to you. Share it with the people that you meet in the street, share with people at a cafe. You never know who may share the same passion as you and is just waiting to meet you. I want to support you in this, and I believe in what you want to create. Much love.